이어서 린치핀 팀의 해상 물류 단일 창구 프로토타입에 대한 기술 정책적 제안 및 프로토타입의 안전한 도입을 위한 사이버 위기관리 지침서 수정 권고안이라는 제목으로 발표가 있겠습니다. 큰 박수 부탁드립니다.
Thank you, Mr. Secretariat. Ladies and gentlemen, and honorable judges, we in the team Linchpin stands here today to tell you that people are suffering. People are also burdened. Each member state of International Maritime Organization has different authorities, different laws, and use different language when forming their own independent regulations regarding maritime transport business. And those differences are burdening all the insuring ships and relevant stakeholders to submit coordinates and documents redundantly to fit those internationally distinguishing regulations that are nearly identical in contents but with just a different format and language. This redundancy causes three main problems in the maritime transport business. Those problems vary from not only the duplication of information, but also the great waste of time and cost due to a huge administrative burden. And all of these problems possess the great potential to substantially diminish the competitiveness of the maritime transport business, which is the mission that the International Maritime Organization has long struggled to protect and to maintain it. IMO therefore came up with a certain project called MSW, which is the acronym for the Maritime Single Window, in order to combat those key problems in the status quo of the maritime transport business. Maritime Single Window is an information communication technology that is based on the single window concept of technology that uses the single online portal where all the information required by the public authorities that are in connection with the arrival, stay, and departure of ships, persons, and cargoes to be submitted without any duplication of information. MSW of IMO, however, takes a step further from this basic concept of single window technology and tries to harmonize the custom procedures that are different according to states under the one unified format called Electronic Custom Infrastructure, which in short also called as the e-custom system. But the question is, why maritime single window? Why MSW are we focusing on among numerous agendas and projects that IMO currently undertakes? The answer to this question lies on to the following great number of resolutions, council meetings, and discussions that are held under International Maritime Organization regarding maritime single window projects. Those great number of discussions prove that maritime single window is by far not only the most debated agenda right at this moment, but also acknowledged by the member states of the International Maritime Organization to be one of the most important matters that has to go through profound and long debate. Facilitation Committee, for example, throughout its several meetings in 35th, 39th, and also in the latest 40th session, was able to articulate the specific four phases of the Maritime Single Window project and mandate all the member states to implement the single window technologies for the maritime transport data exchange. The technological process and progress regarding MSW is also very substantial. The Technical Cooperation Committee in the 65th session was able to bring approval from the member states, majority of the member states, to adopt the first alternative methodology for the design of the MSW prototype, and also set Maritime Single Window project as one of the main agendas for its integrated technical cooperation program in this year. So far, in order to be more specific regarding the first alternative methodology, the first alternative methodology is the methodology that reuses one of the systems that are donated by the donators, and also including with the parts of different systems that are currently existing around the world. In other words, the first alternative pursues the single window technologies that are integrated integrated single window technologies that are dispersed around the world. So far, according to the 114th Council meeting report, Norway, Chile, and other member states of the European Maritime Safety Agency donated their own single window technologies called National Single Window, and along with them, Republic of Korea also donated their relevant resources and background information regarding technology development to IMO for the successful MSW development. It is also notable that International Maritime Organization strengthened the partnership with World Customs Organization and other prominent international organizations to successfully implement the prototype in one target country after the design is over. Considering all the circumstances, it is true that Maritime Single Window has received the greatest level of international attention and will keep on doing so until the successful completion of implementation and design of the prototype. The first two phases have already been successful, which was to garner information regarding MSW around the world. What is really important from now on is the last third and the fourth phases that are to design and to implement the actual prototype in one target country after the project is successful. And this is the point where we would like to assist International Maritime Organization and provide IMO three suggestions. The three suggestions are as follows. First, we propose technological proposal on what single window technologies to integrate, and secondly, a policy proposal on a draft information paper that is based on that integration model we proposed the Republic of Korean government should submit in the future facilitation committee meeting in 2017, and finally, the revision approach for a future FAO and maritime safety committees interim guideline on maritime cyber risk management for the successful and efficient and safe implementation of the MSW prototype. So first of all, what single window technologies to integrate? Our integration model can be summarized as reusing national single window of European Maritime Safety Agency and reinforcing its e-custom part of technology with Republic of Korea's single window e-custom infrastructure, UNIPAS. From now on, Mr. Lim Tae-young will further detail the technical aspects of the integration model we proposed, and also along with the rationale on why we have chose those three technologies for the integrations and why e-customs we chose to be further reinforced. Thank you.
As the previous speaker clearly explained, we propose IMO to reinforce EMS's national single window with integrated e-custom technology from UNIPAS and Intersoft. But why EMS's MSW in the first place? This is because EMS's prototype has a long history of development that traces back to 2010. Moreover, its excellence as a foundational technology for a maritime single window prototype was recognized by the Council of IMO, where EMSA promised to provide prototype software. To be more specific, please refer to this diagram. This diagram illustrates current various single window requirements. Especially, trade single window is the part that includes e-custom, which harmonizes the custom procedures in all over the world. In the blueprint of EMSA's MSW, many of the single window systems you saw in the previous slides are incorporated into one single window. For a more efficient information flow, we will focus on reinforcing this in e-custom part. Then why are we focusing on custom part? It is because e-custom is one of the main technology that significantly reduces time spent in maritime transportation paperwork. For instance, in case of Korea, time consumed in shipping transportation reduced by 24 hours after implementation of e-custom system. IMO also acknowledges the importance of e-custom by publishing a joint compendium with World Customs Organization emphasizing advanced e-custom system. So, it is no doubt that IMO should have the most efficient e-custom technology for maritime single window prototype. However, Using only EMS's e-custom is not enough. Despite its excellence in technology, its format and level of software is highly inclined to European countries. Thus, EMS's e-custom part need more technical add-ons to facilitate data exchange in other continents, including developing countries. So, this is the part where we would like to propose integrating these two e-custom systems into IMO's maritime single window prototype. They are Unipass and Intrasoft's e-custom single window. These two custom software is one of the best e-custom in the world, as various countries are using this, compatibility of maritime single window prototype of IMO will be sufficient. We will first look at the technical excellence these two possess. Unipass, first of all, is an e-custom used by Korean Customs Service. Unipass achieved one of the fastest clearance time record in the world. It has also been mentioned as best custom by World Bank and WCO. Such excellence enabled Unipass to be exported to several countries like Ecuador, Cameroon, and Kenya, and etc. Secondly, Intrasoft is an IT company that develops several single-window systems, including e-custom, and is one of the main software developers for EMSIS and SW. Europe for Intrasoft, and continents other than Europe for Unipass. This integrated e-custom model will serve the role as a platform for a more flexible NSW prototype that can be compatible with systems already implemented in the member states. Please refer to this figure. This figure indicates several countries that have adopted or planning to adopt Unipass. As it can be noted, most of the exported countries are developing countries. And according to this year's ITCP, IMO has a responsibility to design universal maritime single window prototype that can facilitate developing countries' implementation of MSW. So, integration of Unipass will help IMO to fulfill that responsibility. In Intrasoft's case, you can see they are mainly exported to European countries. So, if Unipass and Intrasoft e-custom are integrated, it will reduce unnecessary cost for each country to change their already implemented infrastructure when it becomes mandatory to use IMO's maritime single window. Ultimately, we, the team Linchpin, are suggesting IMO to use integrated model of e-custom. And that integrated custom will incorporate into the whole maritime single window, which has the basic structure of EMSIS MSW. Based on provided explanation, we suggest Republic of Korea government to propose to IMO why Unipass is a perfect candidate for reinforcement of MSW prototype through information paper for upcoming FAL 41 in 2017. It is time for us to move on to the last fourth phase of Maritime Single Window project, the implementation. When it comes to implementation, policy infrastructure for technology is a must for a safe implementation. For such policy infrastructure, we now propose the amendment on MSCC's interim guideline of cyber risk management. Mr. Kim from now on will present on this matter.
Thank you, Ms. Lin. MSW's two key goals are to achieve convenience in transport and security in its management. FAL and MSC Committee both acknowledge this fact and even agreed to establish a joint FAL-MSC guideline on cybersecurity. In this situation, cybersecurity of maritime single window is a crucial point that cannot be overlooked when the time reaches to actually implement the global integrated single window. Other than that, there are several reasons why in maritime single window cybersecurity is important. First of all, policy is a proven problem. No countries will conquer to the MSW prototype which is not proven to be safe and does not have post-hacking guidelines, especially for MSW that handles sensitive information online. And second, the complexity of cyber risk management. Cybersecurity is a field of study that needs integrated combat approach of member states under the leadership of IMO. Last of all, the possibility of collateral cyber damage. Maritime single window is based on several integrated information communication technology. Attack against maritime single window, therefore, can cause huge collateral cyber damage on other ICT maritime technologies. According to the status quo, we try to establish our own maritime single window cybersecurity guideline. At first, we try to borrow from existing cybersecurity guideline, which is established by IMO. But cybersecurity is a field of study that is relatively a new agenda for IMO. Therefore, the only guideline that can give maritime single window a strong policy basis was the interim guideline on maritime cyber risk management, which is established by MSC committee. But this guideline was not only needs further application, but also does not adequately address the special circumstances that apply to maritime single window. Then why? Why it was not adequate for maritime single window? The part of the guideline that we want to focus was clause 3.5. This clause explains about the elements of cyber risk management, where it lists to remedy damage after the cyber attack happens. As you can see, the most important characteristic of this guideline is the concurrency of actions. Actually, it provides the most basic and foundational elements for cyber risk management. And it is also true that the most of cyber risk of elementary level of information technologies can be managed with this guideline. But maritime single window is a different story. Concurrency of actions of elements the guideline recommends can only provide the basic level of security that cannot fully protect the maritime single window. As one of the most complicated information communication technology, maritime single window needs more systematic, more solid, much stronger actions. In other words, strict order and sequence involving security elements are crucial in cyber risk management, and also terminology that the guideline provided were greatly vague and repetitive. And last, prevention measure was needed. We, therefore, specify 3.5 clause by adding a subclause 3.5-1, which is titled Specialized Sequential Procedures for the Cyber Risk Management of Maritime Single Window, along with two subclauses A and B that respectively deal with prevention measure and the post-hacking sequentially corresponding measure. First, in regard to 3.5-1A, prevention measure, there are three core parts of maritime single window infrastructures that need to be considered for the prevention of cyber threats. First, IDS, intrusion detection system, which should be connected to all networks that connected to maritime single window. Second, maritime single window portal offers advanced security functions such as electronic signatures to provide sender authentication and ensure data integrity. Third, cybersecurity experts should always keep their eyes on maritime single window. Second, 3.5-1B, post-hacking sequential corresponding measure. In this part, we came up with a new manual that provides better security, stronger countermeasures, and clearer terminologies, which is called DART manual. DART manual is an acronym of 5 steps. First, detection is a step that detects abnormal symptoms and distinguishes whether it is simple system failure or cyber attack. Second, first action is a step that prevents and deters the aggravation and dissemination of an incident. Third, analysis is a step that analyzes the incidents for a final solution. Fourth, restoration is a step that erases malicious code and program and get back to the original network. And last phase, tightening security. Tightening security is a step of preventive operation for the future recurrence of the incident. So, why DART? Why DART's procedure? Why International Maritime Organization should adopt the following revision? First of all, DART manual helps define who is in duty when the hacking incident occurred. Concretency of functional elements without a series of flow and procedure can distract security manager to find out the clear causes of hacking incident and who did not react appropriately. And second, it has greater practicality since it has procedure. And third, last phase, tightening security is included. It is the last step where it prevents maritime single window server from being attacked with this hacking scenario identical to that of the past. Finally, clear and easy to follow. These terminologies provide higher clearances and facilitate security managers to procedure following. So all of these contents combined, the final amendment will be as following. 3.1 Specialized sequential for the cyber risk management of maritime single window. Subclause prevention measure and subclause 2 post-hacking sequential correspondent measure. Thank you.
네, 린치핀의 발표 설명했습니다. 이어서 린치핀 팀의 발표에 대해서 질문 시간을 갖도록 하겠습니다.
Are you all ready to take questions? Good. Again, technical issue. May I again invite the participating team for a question? Do any of the students have questions? No? I see none.
There is.
Oh, there's one. Oh, please.
Thank you for your presentation and your team O2. I wonder, do you think this technology is positively accepted by other nations? Because I think if IMO developed a universal single window prototype, each nation will get lesser right to control about their nation's information than now.
Would the speaker please rephrase the question, please?
I wonder, do you think this technology is positively accepted by nations, other nations?
Yes, we do believe that those reinforcement strategies will be accepted by the member states of the International Maritime Organizations because UNPAS, as we have previously explained, is adopted by the several developing countries already, and UNPAS and also the e-custom infrastructure used by the European Maritime Safety Agency's national single window is also used by all of the European Union member states. So since the member states of the International Maritime Organization is also comprised of several developing countries, and mainly the European countries and the Western countries, they will fully agree to that integration model because even though the new NSW prototype will be developed by the IMO and the prototype will be forced upon to use by those member states, since they are using the basic technologies that are comprising this integration model, there will be less cost for them to change the policies or the whole infrastructures. And thus, we believe this is one of the most rational approach for the member states to accept. Thank you.
Do any of the judges have again?
Yeah, maybe to education. Yeah, thank you, Linchpin. Thank you very much for your excellent presentation. The suggestion. I have one question. During the prepare your PPT, did you investigate any technical international standard? For example, the ISO or something like that. Or if you have any. If you have investigated something like that, could you explain which ISO, for example, ISO Ireland or something like that? I think the technical standard, making technical standard is the beyond IMO category. So the IMO should have to consider something like that. So yeah, please.
Thank you for your question, sir. So that is the reason why we are proposing Republic Korean government to submit the information paper to the upcoming 41st session of the Facilitation Committee meeting, because since International Maritime Organization is not solely dedicated to technology development of the prototype, we are suggesting Republic Korean government to suggest International Maritime Organization in the international platform by saying that there's a single window e-custom infrastructure at UNIPAS is one of the perfect candidates for the integration model and a successful design of the MSW prototype. And then the International Maritime Organization Secretariat will be able to note the information on the information papers regarding the UNPAS and the integration model we propose, and report that to the specific subcommittees that are solely dedicated for the prototype development.
Any other question? Dr. Park, please.
Thank you for your presentation. Nowadays, the technical committee of IMO control this single window matter. And so the problem is that there are many different versions of the single window. The Norway version, the Korea version, and Asia version. It is possible to harmonize in terms of the user and the customer. Do you have any solution to harmonize? Another question. Problem is very complicated technical matter. It's different to the large culture or the infrastructure in the nations. And so if there is no to the cyber risk management, as if the cyber risk management is not appropriate, what happens?
For the first question, we would like to answer that. Oh, sorry, sir. But could you please rephrase the first question, please?
So
Yeah.
there are many
Yeah.
the single window versions to how to it is possible to harmonize. Yeah.
So,
In terms of the different versions and user versions.
yeah. Actually, since we are not professional engineers, we are not entirely sure whether it is really possible to harmonize these systems. But according to the Technical Cooperation Committee's 65th sessions, they brought approval from the majority of the member states that they adopted the first alternative methodology, which is the methodology that reuses one of the systems that are offered by the donors, which in our sense, the European Maritime Safety Agency's national single window, and parts of different systems. So the fact that they agreed upon to develop maritime single window prototype based on this methodology proves that it is indeed possible for the member states to develop the harmonized prototype development. Since we're not engineers on any specific measures, we're not entirely sure, but since member states agreed to develop based on the methodology, we are indeed sure that it is possible to harmonize those different systems, we believe. And also for the second question, right. So for cyber risk management, we actually adopted DART manual. We did not entirely, we refer to several cyber risk management guidelines that are adopted by the security agencies in different countries, like national information, what was that? The CIA version of Korea. Yeah. Oh yeah, the NIS in Korea and also the CIA in the United States. So those kind of information agencies in different countries are adopting the similar manuals as the DART manual that we have proposed, and we believe it has the strong effect on corresponding the cyber threats against the information communication technology.
So of course my question is I would like to listen to what happened the cyber risk management is not appropriate. Why the single window needs is directly related to this matter?
As previously mentioned, maritime single window is an integrated global single window, right? And this information communication technology are greatly much complicated than other single technologies. And we here thought the this maritime single window needs some procedures, not the concurrent actions of the guideline that provide in the MSC committee. So here, these procedures helps to find out who is in duty when the cyber attacks occur, and like let's assume that just a maritime technology about the radar. Radar, if the cyber attacks happen and radar is not operating, then we just can deal with the existing guideline, MSC guideline, with the concurrent actions. Who did that and where the attack happened, like that. However, MSW is too complicated and special situation. So, yeah, this about it.
Okay, can I have one very quick question? One of your proposals is to amend this newly adopted, approved MSC circular on cyber risk management. But you are actually proposing now to make it as a FAL and MSC joint circular. Is there any reason to have this joint circular instead of single MSC circular?
The joint FAO and MSC guideline was actually was previously scheduled by the Facilitation Committee in the Maritime Safety Committee, because while FAO, the Facilitation Committee, was working on the maritime single window prototype development, Maritime Safety Committee was dealing on the cyber risk management guidelines. And those two committees, they thought, since maritime single window is one of the complex information communication technology that requires that specific cyber risk management guideline, so they promised each other to have to publish the joint guideline, and jointly publish amendments on the currently existing interim guideline on maritime cyber risk management. So the proposal we are trying to propose is that. Is that the amendments on the interim guideline on maritime cyber risk management is equal to the joint FAO and MSC joint interim guideline.
Thank you. With that, I will close your speech.
Thank you. Thank you, judges. 이것으로 린치핀 팀의 발표를 마치도록 하겠습니다. 큰 박수 부탁드립니다.